Brace yourselves. Influencer hype, inflated prices, and complaints about reformulations are coming. Rasasi Hawas Ice. I'm going to be brutally honest. It's one of the benefits of not having an affiliate link in your description. Let's talk about that. Hello people, my name is Nixon Darius and you are watching Smelly Cat. I'm wearing pink today to raise awareness about breast cancer because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Today we talk about the new Hawas flanker that everyone is so excited about. But before we move on, let me know in the comments if you'd want me to do a comparison between Hawas and Hawas Ice. This is going to be more of a review, an in-depth review. But if you want like a one-on-one comparison between the two, where I answered a few questions, let me know in the comments. This officially launched here in the UAE on the 5th of October, although people in India and Bangladesh already had this I think 2 or 3 days before that. I tried it a day before the actual launch, so on the 4th. At the Rasasi store, they had a bottle where you could test it, but you couldn't buy it for personal use unless you wanted to buy it in bulk. Now I've given this 7 to 8 full wearings, a good 8-hour wearings, because my initial impression was at the store was not very good, and I didn't want to do an initial impression video. I think the title and maybe the thumbnail must have given you an idea of what I still feel about it, but I thought let's wear this for a few days, hoping that it would grow on me, and then I'd do a review. Let's quickly have a look at the presentation. The box is very similar to the previous box. Has that snake-like design. Hawas, only difference is that they have the word ice written on it, and this one is like a metallic blue in color. At the bottom you have the barcode and the batch and the month of manufacture. Mine is an August 2023 batch. I'm not sure if you can read it, which is the first batch ever made. Here is the bottle. It actually looks much better in person, I must say, than it did in the pictures. The blue really works. Love that it goes in this ombre style from light to dark. The bottle does look really nice. The white on this cap may look a little cheap in pictures, but in person, like the bottle itself, it looks much better. And finally, here's the sprayer. Sprays a very good amount of juice, and it makes this squishy sound when you spray it. Here are the notes floating around. Now they're not the official notes from Rasasi, although I don't think they'd be much different. I'll tell you the notes and then I'll tell you what my nose actually gets. So the top notes are bergamot, lemon and mint. The heart notes are orange blossom, cardamom, plum and blackcurrant, and the base notes are patchouli, amber, tonka and sandalwood. So as you can see, it's pretty much similar to what Rasasi Hawas's notes are as well. Okay, let's talk about the fragrance now. There's been a lot of hype around this before the release, and to be honest, for me personally, this has been a very disappointing release. It smells good, it's very likable, they're gonna sell truckloads of this, but it's just so close to Hawas, and it's just so boring. And you know what, let me predict the kind of comments I'm gonna get. You wanted something different from it? It's a Hawas flanker. Or you expected it not to be boring? Or why do people blind buy stuff and then get disappointed? Here's the thing, if this released a year after Hawas, I wouldn't be disappointed. We are in 2023 and the last thing we need is another scent that smells like Invictus. And for those saying it's a flanker, why are you expecting something different? A flanker doesn't really have to smell exactly like the main fragrance. I'm not saying it has to smell completely different, but take the Mugler Alien Amen range for example. They all have that unmistakable Amen DNA in them, but pure malt smells different from pure wood. Pure wood smells different from pure Hawan. Pure Hawan smells different from pure Tonka, and pure Tonka smells different from pure coffee. They don't smell very alike, but they still have the essence of the main fragrance in them. And that's what's missing in this. This is very similar to the original without having its own identity. So if a flanker is announced for one of the most popular Middle Eastern fragrances ever, one that has sold probably millions of bottles, I don't know, maybe exaggerating, but a lot of bottles, and then it's been like 7 to 8 years after the initial release, and it has the word ice in it, and then you buy it and then it ends up smelling like Invictus, and it has nothing icy cool in it, I do have the right to be a little disappointed, right? Anyways, enough complaining. I'll talk about the scent and then you guys are big enough to make your own decision. Now, the opening smells great and I wish that it lasted a little longer or kept that direction a little longer. You get that citrus, but you get very little of that mint mentioned in the top note, especially with the name Ice. There is a bit of a menthol-like feel in the opening, but that's about it. If the previous one had more of a bubblegummy feel to it, this one you could say has a more bubblegum meets chewing gum feel to it. I hope I'm making sense.
Nay.
I really wish they would have amped up the ice in this, because that would make it truer to the name, that would give it a little more character, and it would also make this a much more interesting scent than it is. Now the notes don't mention apple, although there is apple in this for sure. It's the same that is there in Hawas as well, and that apple and mint in this will in parts remind you of scents like Versace's Eros or YSL. It's what adds that sweet fruitiness in the opening. The differences are a lot more evident once it starts drying down. It's a lot sweeter, with the tonka really standing out. Let's quickly answer some questions you may have. Does it smell like Hawas and Invictus? I've already answered that question. Yes, it does. I would say it definitely has that Hawas, the DNA from Invictus. And I would say it's about, I normally don't put percentages, but just to put it into context, I would say that it's around 80% like that. Does it last longer than Hawas? I was expecting that it would, but for me on my skin, the original Hawas lasts much longer. However, I must say that mine is an old batch of Hawas. It's pretty old now. And I've heard that the newer ones don't last that much. I don't know yet, because I have had 2 bottles of these, and the second bottle also was pretty old before I heard that the reformulation has happened. Like I said in the start, if you want me to compare these two, let me know in the comments right now. And I'm sitting here in front of the camera. If I get enough comments in the first 10, 15, half an hour of this video being uploaded, I'll quickly do a comparison between these two as well. How's the performance? I would say 7 to 8 hours. And projects well in the first 2 hours with within like 2 or 3 feet around you. Is it a compliment getter? Yes, it definitely is. Although it's not unique, it's very likable, and I don't see anyone disliking this scent. Is it boring? Yes, I've answered that already. It is a boring scent. It's a safe scent. It's a dumb reach kind of scent. I won't say it's super creative in any way, but it does smell boringly good. Now for the most important question. Do you need Hawas Ice if you already have Hawas? The short answer is no, you don't. I'm not going to beat around the bush. You don't need both. If you have a small collection and if you have Hawas in your collection already, or anything that remotely smells like Invictus, you don't really need Hawas Ice. If you haven't bought Hawas ever, and you were worried about the reformulation and all of that, and you don't have anything that smells like Invictus, then I would say pick this over Hawas, because I'd say this is a slightly more modern take on the original, and it feels of slightly better quality. It's nice and smooth. That synthetic feel is still there, but slightly lesser than the original. But there's a caveat to that: do not overpay. Okay, what's the price, or what's a fair price for this scent? I bought it for 175 dirhams from the Rasasi store in Mall of the Emirates. That, to put into context, is around $38. I'm gonna piss off a lot of sellers, but I don't give a because I make these videos for you guys and not for sellers. The absolute max you should pay for this, according to me, make your own decision, make your own mistakes, but according to me, the maximum you should pay for this is 4,500 rupees in India, less than $50 to $55 in the US, less than 45 to 50 pounds in the UK, and not more than 6,000 taka in Bangladesh. So please don't overpay for this. The prices will automatically go down on their own. I know that in a lot of places Rasasi doesn't sell them directly, so the prices are going to be slightly higher. I've seen people paying $90 for that, for this scent, and that is just stupid. For the rest, you guys know what to do with your money best. If you really like it, you got to try it, you got to decant, you really want to jump on that hype train. I'm not saying it's a bad scent. I'm saying it again. I don't want to get hate by people saying, you know, this guy just didn't like it, so he's telling others not to buy it. Listen, do what you want with your money, but I would suggest please try it, because it's very, very, very reminiscent of that Hawas, that Invictus DNA. And then I don't want you to be disappointed like I was. I paid 175 dirhams. I'm making a video out of it. I got content, so I'm okay. But if you guys are not going to make a video, don't pay $90 for it, please. Alright, that's the end of the video. That's what I think about this scent. I've worn it for 8 to 10 days now. I've given it a proper thorough wearing. If you like this video and you're here at the end, do consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and also hitting that bell icon. And until next time, keep smelling amazing.